Hello everybody, Kyoto here. I wanted to show you some tips and tricks for Dragon Village Arena. Now, the very beginning of this game, I am now in World 2. You can see I leveled Rudra to 20. I leveled Cloud to 10. Alternatively, you could level Rudra to 21 and leave Cloud at level 1. It's whatever you want to do with your resources. That's pretty much all you need for the starting lineup. You get wild free from the quest once you get to World 2, and I unfortunately pulled power on my first summon. First summon will give you a rare dragon. It could be light, dark, or whatever's on the default list, and it gave me power. He's not completely terrible, but he's not that great either. Now that you're in World 2, you want to make sure you have gone in here and watched your ads. You want to make sure that you've clicked on the Dragon Collection twice to get your 10 eggs. And you want to make sure you've collected all your quests here and up here, as well as any mail you have. As well, you want to make sure you come into your player config coupon and put in DVA welcomes. This will give you 1,000 diamonds. I've already collected it, so it's not going to do anything for me. Once you're at that point, this will give you 4,270 diamonds, roughly. I think it should be the same for everybody, but who knows? This game likes to do weird stuff sometimes. And you should have around 13 eggs. Before you do any summons after the one you're forced to do, you want to make sure you click on your wish list and set it up however you want. We can go through this real quick. There are some dragons that really don't do much. So we have our tanks here. 4 wind. The first one's a buffer. The second one has a good amount of health, and he protects a dying back range fighter. And then the third one will continuously make shields throughout the battle. As far as tanks go, none of them are that great. They're all pretty much on par with each other. We have our casters here with the first ones. I mean, there are more casters, but I'm actually going to keep the other two. The first one has a CC, but unfortunately, well, he's not really a caster. He's agility. He looks like he's a caster. He has a CC, but the person can't be fought while they're CC'd. Other than that, the rest of his kit is pretty useless. He will debuff people with his ultimate, but come on, that's your ultimate. The second guy, he's mostly just a caster. He will buff crit on your strongest in your party. Our other agilities here, the first one is really good for boss fights. He will debuff the boss and better than any other dragon in the game. He's pretty much essential for doing the bosses. These are our other casters. They're really good support. I just realized I skipped over Jet. We'll stick with the caster for now. So the blue one, really good, especially once you've got his treasure all the way up. Treasures are unlocked at legendary grade, which is the red picture frame. And once he's got all of his treasure, his ultimate will give you, or I think it's every time he lays a balloon, will give you a whole bunch of energy, and it's amazing. Also, once he levels up high enough, he gains an ability where he can negate damage if he has energy, which makes him a really good off tank. The pink one will follow the strongest person on the field. Hopefully it's your carry. She's mainly used for bosses, but if I have to, I'll use her on the field. I just don't want to. She is good for the wind tower, though. Once you get to the tower, there will also be a wind, fire, earth, and water tower that open up, and you can only use dragons from that element. Jet, which was this guy right here, he's agility. He's okay. I like to have him for the wind tower, and that's why I threw him in there. I pretty much don't go in with a real tank. Mystic Tiny says he's strength based, which is usually the tanks, but he is a long range fighter. Not that good in the beginning. Once you level him up enough, he starts stunning, which is very helpful. He also hits pretty hard, so that's always great. Here we have our tanky guys. The first one's an actual tank. He pushes people around. Not that great, though. We have Bomber, who can debuff the enemy a bit. He's pretty good for bosses. But I'm just going to leave him out. I'll probably just get one copy of him at some point and then just leave him there for a while. Wild, you only need one copy of. You need to get it to the point when he gains immunity upon death. He'll stop at 1 HP. He'll get a shield for a little bit. So you really don't need more copies of him. But early game, you need to get copies of... like, you need to focus your copies. So I'm just going to leave them in there anyway. Here we... oh, yeah. He's technically a tank, too. He does life HP drain. And he also does long range attacks. So he's not really a tank per se. He's a warrior. But he can be very tanky. I would mainly just use him for the fire tower. This is a PvP pretty much only character right here. Dances around the field as a caster. That's not a great idea. But he also reduces the healing of the enemy, which is pretty nifty. It's not a very common ability in this game. This guy's pretty strong. He will unfortunately jump immediately into the enemy's territory. So if he survives, he does a lot of damage. If he dies right away, that's pretty much what usually happens. Early game, he's really good, but once you start getting those level deficiencies, he pretty much gets splat like a fly. This guy will lay traps. He's a long-range dealer. The traps are only laid once, and then you lay it around him. You can use that for protection if they have someone who can jump to the back row or someone who likes to rush the back line. His ultimate makes him strafe vertically up and down the field, and he can be attacked while he's doing his ultimate. It's not the greatest. And then we have these three. The first one likes to put down a shield at the beginning of the battle. There's another character called Scorpion who can suck enemies in, and that's very useful. The green one makes it harder for your people to be hit, and he does vortexes, which is like a little mini CC, so he's useful. He also does some decent damage. And the last guy is a healer. He puts totems down that taunt and heal. It's very random RNG based. So you might have to restart fights a lot just because you don't like the totem placement in the beginning of the battle. Moving on, I unfortunately got power, so I'm going to stick with power because I like to focus my copies in the beginning of the game. Hopefully that's still only the only copy I get of power. Maybe I get one of the other supports up here, as they're really good. Earth supports are amazing. These are our technical tanks. The first one is a healer, and that's pretty much it. He does some rooting, not that great. Next one does a lot of pushback, and he has a lot of health. Again, they're not that good. Supposedly Enix and Iron, which was the fire tank robot thing, are a good combination, but I assume you have to do a lot of focused building on them to get them to that point. This guy's mostly PvP based. He's the only character in the game who can dodge magic attacks. When he's used against you, he's going to be awesome. When you use him yourself, he's not going to be that great because of level deficiencies. She can be very good. She hops around, well, she teleports around the battlefield. So that's kind of circumstantial, but she also puts everyone to sleep with her ultimate, and she does lock out the strongest enemy on the field, similar to the first uh, wind agility dragon I showed you that I thought was a caster. Um, I mean, she can be good, but she can also time out your battle. Um, so, grain of salt there. This is Scorpion. He's amazing to use as a tank. Normally, I would put him in my slot, but I have power instead. So I'm going to stick with power for now, just because I want that slot for the other support. But if you get Scorpion, he can be really good if you use him as your carry. Personally, I'd still stick with Kakabi as the carry because he can get you further faster. Scorpion is a really fun character, though. I will give him that. And these are our supporting role characters. The first one is a healer, the best healer in the game. The second one will increase the speed of your characters early in the fight, and he also does some decent damage. He has a knockback, which isn't that great, but it is what it is. Then you have the Apple Cheek character, who is one of the greatest supports in the game because he's one of the newer dragons. He does have a bush he puts down that heals and reduces healing for the enemies. His ultimate stuns all the enemies and gives immunity to damage to one of your characters. It can be very clutch. And then the last character here will link the furthest and closest enemies together so they take damage together. And then eventually, when you level up enough, if one of them dies, it gets stunned. Other than that, he's just a powerful caster. Here we have the Waters. This is the best branch in the game. You might want to give yourself Blue Lightning. He's really good early game, but he does fall off. The thing with Blue Lightning is the game gives you copies, so it could get you up there pretty quick if you want to make him your second water to level up. Here, he's pretty good once you get him built, but you have to build him a lot. It's really not worth it until end game. You don't want to get stuck down that rabbit hole. This guy's good to have at least one copy. When you level him up enough, he will immediately switch spots with an enemy on the other side of the field, which could be very useful for strategy. Here we have the tanks. The first one will bring an enemy to him immediately. Anytime an enemy is defeated, he will bring another one to him. He's a little frog. It's basically that. He's not that great. He can be useful, but there's better. You don't want to take up another tank slot with him. He's actually a warrior, but it is what it is. This other one is a real tank. The unfortunate thing with him is you really have to build him up for him to be useful. Straight off the bat, he's not that great. He makes little slimes. And eventually, if you build them up, they will explode, heal, do a lot of damage. Until that point, he's not useful. This is the most useful of the water tanks, or pretty much any other tank other than wild. When he dies, he will come back. And later on, you can do, once you build him up, you can do some interesting things with him to take out the enemy line. It's certain types of enemies, so it is what it is. I guess I'll leave him. These two, the purple one is really not good until you get his souvenirs all the way up. After that, he is a better version of the earth one that increases the speed of your characters. Because for earth, it will fall off in the beginning after so much time. For this purple guy, you will have that swift the entire battle. Bingo is a really good CC, and I normally would probably keep him on the list. The only reason I'm not is I have Blue Lightning there. I do like using Bingo, but there's just so many good water dragons, and because I want to get those extra copies, I'm not going to worry about them. Bubble is really good to get one copy. I'm probably going to keep Bubble here, get that copy, and take Bubble off. And then I'll try to get one copy of Undyne here. Undyne is really good for bosses. I will probably just borrow somebody's Undyne, and then once I get my own, I'll borrow somebody's Asura. And then Kakabi. Kakabi is by far the strongest dragon in the game. If I get Kakabi, he will be my primary, he will be my carry. I will put all my levels and all my resources into him first. Kakabi and Scorpion are probably the only carries I would constantly keep 40 levels ahead of the rest of my party. But Kakabi is definitely the better choice. So once you have your wish list, and this is what I'm going to go with for this profile, and you've gotten your resources together, let's go ahead and try and summon. And see what we get. Got ourselves Diamond again. He will increase the speed of our characters in the beginning of the match. He's really good. Now we have to use diamonds, and we only have enough for one set of 10. And we got nothing. Now for the beginning of the game, you will always want to use your diamonds for 10 summons. Do not use diamonds for anything else. Got some quests here. Let's see if we got any diamonds from it. Probably not. This thing's being very glitchy today. Nope. Just Dragon XP. Alrighty. Some other tips. Make sure you use your friends list. Manage. Let's get some friends. I usually just throw myself down the line here. Because a lot of times this list right here will have players who have played recently. Another thing you could do once you get there is look in the guild. There's a guild. Shine is the most active guild on the English server. You could just pull people from there. Definitely add me. I've already sent this request to myself, but go ahead and add me. And I have some dragons you can borrow. By borrow, I mean it's mercenary. Once you beat World 612, you can use one dragon a day in the adventure mode. You can use one dragon a day in the tower, which is in the top left here. But you can use the dragons multiple times in both dungeons and exploration. So if you want to play around with some dragons, see what works best for you, you can borrow up to 3 dragons a week from your friends. Unfortunately, each person can only borrow somebody's once. So if, say, someone gets my witch, for instance, no one else can get my witch that week. So it's a first come, first serve type of deal. We got these. Let's see if that's enough. Nope, that was not enough diamonds. So we got our 2 times battle now. Let's actually level our dragons. That would be ridiculous. So we've got 3 elites here. Yep, nothing else. So we want to make sure to level the rare dragons. I know I keep calling them elites. Can't believe it gave me power. It is what it is. In the beginning of the game, you just deal with what you're given. Level our tank here. So let's level power because he's melee. And I'm out of gold. I might have got... Nope. Nothing. Alrighty. Oh, because it's telling me this. I don't like having those dots. Alright, moving on. Let's get through this adventure. Let's get rid of these guys. We got our main tank. We got power as a melee. He's just going to run into the fray. You can see it will not have this until I get to VIP 2. However, once you start on 2-1, there is a skip button. So, if you are strong enough, you can just automatically skip the battles. Whoops, I don't want that. Except for boss battles. So this is a nice way to move forward when you don't have ×2. See? No boss. So boss battles, you still get a fight. As you saw, Power just automatically jumps into the enemy side. He is tank based, so he will survive longer than, say, the Salamander character. But once the level deficiencies really kick in, they're just going to take him out. I've unlocked Exploration. I'm not going to do this yet. What I like to do is get my characters as level up as I can. Whoops. Let's just skip these. Before I go in there, I kind of just push it as far as I can because they're going to stay the same strength all day long. So I'm not going to wait another day to do it, but I will wait for now. You will start getting some rune fragments. People wonder what those are for. Those are to level up treasures in the game. At legendary grade, like I mentioned, when they turn red, you get the treasures. It will add stats and then either a new ability or will modify abilities your dragons already have. I would definitely put the focus of rune fragments and treasure on my carry first, preferably Kakabi, as they will need that to really push the battles for you. For some reason I thought, oh, we only got VIP 1. It was VIP 0 we had before. Sorry, it's been a long time since I've been in this portion of the game. Yeah, so I would get the carries, treasures up, and then I would work on probably Pang Pang. Pang Pang is the little blue bubbly guy. You cannot skip tower battles, by the way. You have to sit here through these. I normally just wait till I get 2x time before I even walk in here. But Pang Pang, like I said, once you get his treasure all the way up, he is an insanely good support. And that's who I would focus on there. Let's get our 2x battle speed. Let's see if there's anything else I want to point out. So I gotta finish this one first. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to get those diamonds rather, so I can do another summon for the dragons. Always do a 10 pull. Your best luck is in those 10 pulls. I'm sure statistically it probably comes out around the same, but I don't know. It doesn't feel that way. I've done single summons before. I'm just like, wish I did 10 pulls. Let's see. So we got our friend. Got some more diamonds. You get diamonds from finishing all those stages. It's being glitchy right now. So I don't know what's up with that, but whatever. Finish another quest, which I believe was getting the friend. And we have enough for another temple. Let's see what we got. Nothing. Awesome. Museum here. You put in the strongest on the list. If you have friends who have these dragons in their list, it's like a specific list. It's right here, support. The game will automatically fill that out for you for a while, but you can go ahead and manually change it. The bonus that it lists for having all the dragons activated at normal, rare, plus heroic, it only affects the dragons in this list. It does not affect all your dragons. Just so you know. There we go. And I have no bonuses. More dragon XP. Let's go ahead and first equip. Oh yeah, let's get rid of his gear because I can give it to him. Some more diamonds. Oops. And let's level him because, like I said, he jumps into the fray. Stop doing that. Let's just get him to 20. And then level him some more because he's our tank. I really don't have a carry at the moment. The game does not want to provide me one. There is that button in the middle I could press. You watch an ad, and it buffs your dragons in the fight. If you do press that button and it looks like you're about to lose, if you retry the fight, you will keep that buff. Little tip there. If you do get stuck with some of the weaker dragons, like I am right now, Rudra is decent, and Mud is also decent. Other than the rest are not that great. This unlocks the guild, so now I can go down, I can find Shine. And then it tells you, how many days the person's been away. Unfortunately, this game has been neglected for many months from the devs, so a lot of people have quit. But it's still one of the more active guilds. There's also a new guild called Soup that's going to be pretty active for a bit. I think Ragnarok is kind of active. Just grab some of these people. I'd probably go all the way up to maybe 1 day of unplayed. There we go. Now you can't actually join any of these guilds until your character is level 10. And this game is so glitchy right now. There we go. So I don't know why it unlocks it for you earlier, but at least you can shop around, see what's what. I need my diamonds for summons. It's not gonna give me much for now. You can find stuff in the shop that might catch your eye, but I recommend, like I said, just using your diamonds for summons. I'm about to lose. Do I have anything else I can do? We got equip. Let's just level him because that'll give him a new ability. Hopefully it's useful enough. Only 410 diamonds. You can pull up your chest here. It's everything is time based in there. That's it. I could watch ads to get some more coins, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to watch any ads on here. Except for in the merchant area. Merchant area, those ads are really good. You can get eggs and diamonds. This is the boss, right? Once I get into World 3, I'm going to cut this video. Looks like we're going to be a little over 30 minutes. Hope any of this information was helpful, even if it's something as little as learning one of the dragons. I know I only went into them quickly. Whoops. I'm guessing the skip button is probably going to be the most useful information you'll get from this. I love that button. I wish I could use it now in my main profile. Unfortunately, once you get, like I said, you're going to get into level deficiencies. And even though they might look easy to beat, they're still going to be higher power than you. It's unfortunate, but it's the way the game is designed. This fight was kind of hard because he mind controls your people, so that's why we were dying. We were killing ourselves. Move to the next world. Now I can do Colosseum. Yay. And the thing with this is you always want to at least get your formation set. Whoops. I think that's there. Champion tournament. You can come in here. Based on where you are, you can make a bet. I don't have enough gold. Always bet on Kyoto. I will win. 3,000 diamonds. We can do summons. Got some more eggs, some more VIP XP. There we go. Another temple. And we got something. We got Phoenix. I don't want another fire dragon. This is very unfortunate because you want one main wind, fire, earth, and water, and then you want to take a second in these elements and level them up. Whichever that one is, that's what you'll end up using the element eggs for, because you want to kind of focus on that. And for the most part, you'd want to focus on water, because like I said, water are some of the strongest dragons out there. Especially if you get in Kakabi, you want to mainly focus on Kakabi. And then maybe just Blue Lightning or Poseidon. Oops, I'm not using you. Just so that you can level up your dragons as far as possible. In order to level up past certain points, they have to be different grades, and in order to get those grades, you have to have copies of them. So you kind of want to let's see what the smart match says. So it says we got these guys. So I made them a little bit more powerful. So my Ruja is stronger, and then other dragons I don't use are slightly stronger. So we can update this. Still getting nothing. Oh, actually we got Phoenix and Wild, so now my Wild has an extra 1250 HP plus 1% HP on top of that. So I mean that's good. Make my tank harder to kill. What just happened there? Okay. And I completed a quest, which didn't give me any diamonds. Lesai. Looks like I finally got a mud. And my Phoenix. Not enough diamonds. So now is the question. Do I level up Phoenix? Or do I keep Cloud? Guess I'll level up Phoenix. The reason being, the rares are going to give you more prowess, so you can skip for longer periods of time. Even if they are more awkward, you can always switch them out when you get to a boss battle. As you can see, once you're in World 3, it automatically goes to the next fight. You still get to move your formation and make your selections, but it makes it a little bit quicker to get through the map. And that is about that. I think what I'm going to do here is once it gets to the next boss, I'll go through adventure to show it real quick, or exploration. Now that I've got, let's see what we got. Now I've got a decent team here. Alrighty, let's go through exploration, because exploration is actually going to give a decent amount of Dragon XP and gold. So by doing this, I should be able to level my dragons a bit more. When it comes to this, you mainly want to get energy, you want to get swift, you want to get attack speed. This one, this uncommon elemental origin in the middle, it can be good, but unfortunately, at this point of the game, I'd much rather get healing for my characters. Just focus on keeping them alive. There's another card later that you could get. I mean, these are all random. So I'm going to get the defense for my front line, and they gain energy as well. You can see blue is worse than purple, which is worse than yellow by their grading system. That's not always the case. So we got reduced duration for CC, increased energy, or healing at the end of the battle. Yeah, I'm gonna go with energy. So right now we're not doing too bad on health. We're actually staying topped off throughout the fight. That might not always be the case. So we get increased defense per victory. I believe that counts from now on. So we'll go ahead and get this now because it's early in the map. Here we go. So we have increased attack for all water elemental dragons. I don't have any, so that card would do nothing. Increased crit damage. We don't crit all too often, so let's just get energy anyway. And see where the blues are much better than that yellow, just because I don't have any water dragons in my party. Later on, this might require some strategy based on what dragons you have, because they will get stronger. Here we go, Swift. Swift is one of the strongest stats in the game. So let's go ahead and get that. Move to floor 2. Right now it's kind of just a free-for-all, because they start really low level, and all these cards technically make you stronger. 15 seconds after battle, heal the lowest, increase defense. I already have the better version of this, so that won't do anything. You do not get to keep those dragons. It's only for the exploration. For the most part, you probably never use them. Unless you just see one you want to play around with. Like, ooh, I've never used that dragon before. Again, once you use mercenaries, you can use one mercenary in here from one of your friends, but it's an unlimited amount of times. So use them. You're not stuck to that one. You can use a different friends if you're like, no, I don't want this one. You can use one on every lily pad. If one dies, you get to use another. So for exploration, let's do agility, because I don't really care about that one wind dragon I have. I have 2 agility based, 3 strength based. Alrighty. And then you'll see when I'm done with this 3rd level of exploration, we got that I'll have a good deal of, first of all, I'll have a good deal of blue dragon eggs, so we might be able to level up Rudra again. That'd be interesting. Second of all, I'll have a good deal of dragon XP, and gold from doing all this. Let's go ahead, because we have the 2nd version of this already. Let's get this, because we don't have any of that yet. Once you move here, you can purchase these. Unless it's 40 or 50%, I would probably just leave it alone. And even if it is, I would only get the rare dragon eggs at this point in the game. Later on, you'd want to buy the red chests or the dragon scale resource. Let's get this because I have Diamond. So now his attacks will hit multiple characters. Make these fights a bit quicker. There is no point in this game where you can skip these exploration fights. So every 2 days it resets. You come in here and you have to do this just like this. I would recommend always doing it. You get a lot of resources. It's not terribly difficult. Sometimes you can find something in the shop. Charm enemy is really good. There's another one later that traps all the enemies on the field. For some reason, if you get both of those cards, they both stop working. So get one or the other. Charm the enemies or trap all the enemies. I prefer charm. Creatures like Scorpion will end up using their abilities against their allies instead of you. And that's really good at the beginning of the fight. And it's even if Scorpion's in the back row, because the front row will turn around and attack him, and he will use his ability on them instead of you. So I prefer charm. Boom. Exploration complete. There we go. Got ourselves a whole bunch of blue eggs. A couple more dragons. No Rudras. For these items, I would save these until you get higher level. Save them as long as possible, because they are based on where you are in the adventure. So further you get through the game, the more resources it will give you. The only ones I would probably pop first are any of them that give Dragon XP. Because like I said, Dragon XP is harder to come by earlier in the game. And then once you get to the higher levels, Dragon XP is the easiest thing to get in the game. And you end up with a huge stockpile of them that you're never going to use. And that'll be all. This is Kyoto signing off, and I hope you've learned something very interesting or useful. Thank you.